All right, everyone, welcome. Thank you all very much for coming out this morning. This is a very exciting moment for us as we are set to introduce Coach Chris Pincince as our next head football coach. And, Coach, if you don't mind reiterating the pronunciation of your last name a few times during your remarks, that would help a lot of us out in the long run. But I'm sure after the first championship, that won't be an issue. But so once again, we're all thrilled that you're here. A lot of you are at our football games, a lot of you in the press box I've gotten to know, so we appreciate your support all year, past, present, and hopefully future. Without any further ado, I do have a quick comment on the structure of today. So Coach will make his remarks towards the end of our presentation here, at which point the media is welcome to ask questions. For any one-on-one individual sessions, we do have this backdrop off to the right here that you may do your individual interviews with Coach Pincince, so we'll try to stagger that accordingly. But once again, I'd like to thank you. And without any further ado, I'd like to introduce Susquehanna University President Jonathan Green.
Thanks, Dan. Welcome. Thank you all for being here today. It's an exciting day in the athletics program for the university. The very first intercollegiate athletic competition that Susquehanna played was a football game in 1892. And thinking about a long tradition of collegiate athletics that's followed from there. We're, of course, here to welcome Coach Pincince, but I think at this particular time in our nation's engagement with college athletics, it's important to use this opportunity to reaffirm Susquehanna's deep commitment to the philosophies of D3 athletics, which I said in a faculty meeting last week is the only remaining legitimate college athletics. Students come to an institution to engage at Susquehanna in a world-class education and the opportunity to compete at a very high level. One of the things we often don't think about is only 1 in 16 high school athletes gets to participate as a varsity athlete in college. And the largest number of those are D3 institutions. And institutions like Susquehanna, where nearly 30% of the student body are varsity athletes, it's an incredibly important part of the experience of our students. One of the things that we often fail to recognize is at many of our sister institutions and at our institution, the grade point average of our varsity athletes is actually higher than the non-athletes. So students are excelling on the field, on the court, and in the classroom. And part of that has to do with the skills that are embedded in the D3 philosophy. Leadership, teamwork, resilience, grit, the soft skills and the pretty hard skills that we want our students to come away with, so that our coaches are an important part of our educational foundation at the institution. And when we think about the development of the whole student and the whole education of the student, the athletic program is a critical part of that. And I like to think back to a quote from Amos Alonzo Staggs Sr. Got some big shoes in front of you. After Walter Camp, probably the single most important coach in the formation of American football, when asked had he recruited the best team of his career, and he said, "I'll let you know in 20 years." That he recognized that what his players became was the sign of success for his program. And in my conversations with Coach Pincince, I know that he deeply embraces that most important part of what we do with Susquehanna athletics and Division III athletics. And so we're excited to invite him to be the leader of our football program going forward. And thinking about that, four consecutive conference championships for football. The men's basketball just played they won the landmark conference championship. The women's basketball team had the best season since 1994. Men's track just won the indoor track and field competition. And so there's excellence throughout the athletic program. And of course, in our largest program and our largest number of athletes are our football players. And so it's an exciting day to celebrate athletics and to celebrate the football program and to welcome Coach Pincince. And to do that, I invite Sharif Hashim, to our athletic director, to make the introduction.
Thanks, Jonathan. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here to welcome our next leader of Susquehanna football. It's really exciting for our storied program, our student athletes, our alumni, and the entire Susquehanna community. After a comprehensive national search, we're proud to introduce Chris Pincince as the next head football coach at Susquehanna University. Coach Pincince brings with him more than a decade of head coaching success and a proven record of sustained excellence. During his 10-year tenure at the University of New Haven, he built one of the most consistent and winningest programs in the country. His teams compiled a 76-34 overall record, including a remarkable 65-18 mark in the Northeast 10 Conference. They captured 5 NE10 championships and made 5 NCAA Division II national tournament appearances. Since 2019, his programs either won outright or shared the conference title every season, a true example of sustained excellence. While at New Haven, those seasons concluded with national rankings of number 23 and number 14, respectively, in the AFCA Division II coaches poll. He left as the winningest coach in program history, a testament not just to talent, but to Coach Pincince's commitment to culture, development, and leadership. Coach Pincince was a quarterback at Boston University. He understands the game from the inside out. His coaching experience spans every level of responsibility, from position coach to coordinator to head coach. He's coached at respected programs including Brown University, Holy Cross, the University of Rhode Island, and Elon University, bringing valuable Division I experience to our program. Throughout the search, we prioritize competitive excellence, player development, strong leadership, and an alignment with our institutional values. And when I met with the football team when the position became vacant, I asked the guys, what are you guys looking for? And one of the first comments I heard was a proven winner. That's something that really stuck with me throughout the search. Coach Pincince understands how to build a championship culture while developing young men who succeed academically and professionally. He stood out in every area throughout the search process. We're confident he's the right leader at the right time for Riverhawks football, and we're thrilled to welcome Chris and his family to Susquehanna. Coach Pincince, we are excited for the future. We're proud to have you lead our program. It's my pleasure at this time to introduce Chris Pincince. He's our Susquehanna University football coach. Thanks.
I'd like to thank President Green for his comments. I met him over the phone a few weeks ago, and I went through the process. Has a great vision for our school and the athletics and how it wraps together. I thought it was a great conversation that we had before and now. I'd like to thank his wife for leaving the 2 bags of Susquehanna gear, water bottles. I've already shipped the majority of it up to the 2 most important people, my wife and daughter. I told them they would be sure to take a look at that. This is my concession. This is my concession to age right here with the glasses. So I cannot do what President Green just did and speak off the cuff. And he might have practiced it 9 times this morning. I'm not sure, but he didn't need notes and he didn't need to read. I do. So I need these glasses to kind of take me through this. I'd like to thank Sharif for his part in the process, but especially the things that he's talked about and helped me with in my 2 weeks here so far. The search committee, Jim Finley, that was a chair of it, Martin Pender, that from an alum standpoint was a part of that committee as well in my hiring process. Multiple groups of people that I met 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago when I was first here on the phone, on the Zooms, that were a part of campus were very, very helpful. Not only interviewing me, but me learning about Susquehanna as I was having those conversations with them during the process. I'd like to thank them. It was amazing that when I came for the the interview for the day that I spent on campus, that they had a voluntary hour to spend with the head coaches in the athletic department, and everyone but one showed up for that conversation, and that one was preparing his team from a practice standpoint to eventually make the run and win the conference championship there from a basketball standpoint. So it was impressive that those head coaches came to talk to me and answer my questions, and not really do an interview. It was us really sharing about things about Susquehanna that I needed to know, and me trying to clue them into who I was at that point. It's really been a whirlwind of the last 2 weeks, but officially 2 weeks now that I have been here, in Selinsgrove. And I was supposed to come here Monday, February 23rd, the day before. Some snow was forecast up in New England, where I live in Connecticut. I had a choice. I made my first great decision as the head coach at Susquehanna, and I made a choice to stay home, shovel the 24 inches of snow for my wife and my daughter before I abandoned them and took my tour down here to Selinsgrove. So I got here about 12 to 14 hours later than I thought, but I think in the end I'll win out with that decision right there. And from a family standpoint, there's one thing, two things that as we get to know each other, as I spend more time here and we all get to know, there are two things that I truly care about, and that's the football program that I'm a part of, but really most importantly, my family, and leaving them. I had to make sure that they weren't under the snow when I left, but my wife Jen and me have been together now for a long, long time, married for 27 years here this summer. My oldest son, Zach, works out in Kansas right now. He's 3 years out of school, works out at Kansas State in the athletic department. My little guy, not so little, but he's a senior at Susquehanna University in New York. And then my daughter, Emma, is a junior at North Haven High School up in Connecticut. Those people truly mean the world to me. It's why I get the opportunity to do what I do, because of my family, and I am thankful for them every minute of the day. I grew up in Woonsocket, Rhode Island. I graduated from Woonsocket High School, inner city in Woonsocket, Rhode Island. Graduated, went to Boston University, where I was a quarterback. I was never the quarterback, but I was a quarterback for my 5 years there. And then I thought I was going to be a math teacher. I graduated a math degree from BU. I thought I was going to go back to high school or prep school and do like my coaches did when I was in high school, and teach math and coach football, basketball, and baseball and things like that. And then my first boss gave me an opportunity. He was my offensive coordinator, he was my position coach in college. And Tony Sperano got the job at the University of New Haven, his alma mater. He gave me an opportunity to be a GA for him. And as a graduate assistant back then, I got to coach. I got to coach 4 wide receivers in the offense. I got to do all the little work. I got to be around the guys from an academic standpoint. And I realized in those 2 years working for Coach Sperano that it was college coaching that I wanted to do. I wanted to have an impact on kids that age. I wanted to play a little bit higher level of football and coach in college than the high school world. And I set forth on my path there. After those 2 years at New Haven, I was very, very lucky to be a part of some of the best programs up in the Northeast. I went to Fairfield University. From there, where at 24 years old, I was very, very lucky to call plays as the offensive coordinator at Fairfield University, a Jesuit school, and had just started football the year before. I was coaching kids that were 3-4 years younger than me a lot of the time, and it was probably the greatest first-time experience anybody could ever have. A lot of responsibility. I was a young person. After 2 years there, I went back to the University of New Haven. Coach Sperano went and did his NFL thing where he spent 2 decades in the NFL, and so we all went back there to the University of New Haven. At the time, I got married. I had my first son, Zach. And then after 3 years at New Haven, we bounced around a whole lot. We did what assistant coaches do in college football. And before my son was 4 years old, he had lived in 4 states. We had been in Connecticut. We worked at Brown University in Rhode Island for a year. We came down to Pennsylvania and worked at Ursinus College for a year. And then we got very, very lucky to go back up to New England and work at the College of the Holy Cross. My second son, Owen, was born at that time. We were a part of one of the greatest educations in the world at the College of the Holy Cross. I was around great kids that wanted their education. We were playing FCS football. We were winning football games. We were doing it at a place that we really, really loved because of the people that we could surround ourselves with. After leaving Holy Cross, we went back to my home state, University of Rhode Island. Had my third child. Emma was born. I wanted to play in the playoffs. I wanted to challenge ourselves. I wanted to shoot for a national championship. And at the time, the Patriot League, what Holy Cross was a part of, wasn't giving us that opportunity. So we went to URI, where we thought that we could win some games. We thought we could go back to my home state. We inherited a program that had a winning season in 28 years. And we did a good job there for 3 years. And we were around some very, very good people and won some games. But I was away from my family a whole lot. I lived an hour away from the school. Hours are long and hard. I had a wife and 3 kids at the time. And so we picked up and made one of the wildest decisions that we've ever made and moved down to North Carolina, away from everybody that we knew. Took my wife and 3 kids down and worked at Elon University for 3 years. I lived 2 minutes from campus. It was the greatest experience of my life because I saw my kids every day. And then in 2014, I got what I thought was the job I was going to stay for the rest of my life, and that was the head coach, University of New Haven. We went back there, and me, my wife, and my kids looked and said, we're going to do this our way. We're going to do it with our family. We're going to do it bringing good people in here, coaches and players-wise. We're going to do it exactly the way that we have watched at all these other places and all the good things that happen. And we spent 10 and a half great years there. Won a lot of games, but most important, we're around some really, really, really good people, good kids, good players, great coaching staffs. People that really, really did it the way that we wanted to do it, and we really, really were happy with the results when it was all said and done. Last year I spent at Post University up in Connecticut with a very good friend, working for the last 8 months. Working because I knew at some point I wanted to be a head coach again. I knew that at some point I wanted to be able to run my own program again, and I wanted to do it the way that we had done it before. I wanted my family to be a part of it. I wanted to bring good people in here. I really, really wanted it to be a great place. And I'm very, very fortunate that Susquehanna ended up being that place. Academics are outstanding here. The campus is beautiful over here. The people, as I said before, the 2 weeks that I've been there, very, very supportive, very friendly. There's absolutely no traffic here. And I spent the last 20, 25 years for the most part up in the Northeast. And for those of you that have been around there, traffic is a disaster, but the personalities and the people aren't quite what you want to be around either. And so I have noticed a difference in both here from a traffic and a personality standpoint. And I'm excited to continue that, here at Susquehanna. I am excited to meet the kids. Right? There are 92 players here for the springtime. I got a chance to meet 10 of them during the search process. They sat in front of me in the search committee. They asked me some questions, but really I asked them the majority of the questions in that meeting. And when I asked them why Susquehanna, why did you choose Susquehanna, they answered it in all the right ways, the ways that I knew that we were going to be a fit. They answered, it's the academics, it's the business school. They answered, it's the campus. They answered, it's close to my family. I'm only a couple hours away from home. They can come here on the weekends. They answered it because the winning tradition here, or the histories in the last 100 years plus, but most important in the last 4 or 5, they answered the culture of the football program. The kids, when they spent the night here, were people that they wanted to be around. A very, very competitive group of young men that answered those questions right and made me smile and said, these are the guys that I want to spend the next bunch of years with. I've watched those players in the last 2 weeks for 4 days before they left for spring break. I watched them run around the track. I watched them compete with each other on the turf. I listened to them. I wasn't a part of it. I was just watching from afar. But I could hear them communicate. I could see them challenge each other. I could see them have a little bit of fun with each other, which is important. I knew that they were a close-knit group. I watched them at the women's basketball game. Energetic, sometimes a little bit too much, getting pretty close to the court. But the enthusiasm that they showed, the energy that they had, the love for Susquehanna, the support for the athletic department, all those things were things that I noticed, as I watched them just from afar. And now I get an opportunity here to start to get to know them this week. I run about 5 to 6 miles every day in the mornings usually. I run around, and for the last 2 weeks, I've been kind of touring around trying to learn my way. Came out of campus, took a left, went downtown to the mall, came back, came into campus, took a right, went down past the racing track and got lost a little bit. Had to come back after that. There no street signs. I've been around campus, in and out, the dorms and the buildings, across the railroad tracks, jogged around the other field there. past the haunted house on the right there. For those of us that have talked, they know what I'm talking about with the haunted house. But I got an opportunity to see the campus a little bit. And the thing that really, really struck me as I jogged around is the football tradition is everywhere as you get close to the building. Right? The football tradition, the names that you see, truly show you, all right, about the history of our football program. Right, the John Garrett Sports Complex, that we have our offices in. The Amos Alonzo Stagg Field, both senior and junior. There's also a hat in my office that it's either his or I'm supposed to wear it on game day. I haven't figured that out yet with the Alonzo Stagg hat. Doug Arthur Stadium, Bob Patel's jersey up top there, number 66 that I see right as I jog around on the track. Right, the Robert Estel Fieldhouse. I watched the track meet last week. I was there and I looked, and it's in honor of the 1965 football team, the indoor facility there. Chris Vialongo Sports Center, obviously in honor of one of our alums that passed in 9/11, right? And I think there's been at least a half a dozen conversations with people that stopped in the office or called me on the phone that mentioned that their family member was a member of the Ring of Honor here, a name that I had to learn, of somebody that I had to talk to, which is unbelievably impressive. There's an old goalpost sitting in my office that nobody explained to me, but apparently we get that and get to keep that when we beat Juniata every year, which is every time, is what I've been told. So it'll never go back, apparently, is the thing. The landmark trophy, the conference trophy, is sitting in my office. It didn't have this year's championship on it until the track meet when the head of our conference came by and stuck it on there. But it's a reminder of the great tradition and those names that I spoke of and some of the things that I got a chance to see. Kind of shows you about the expectations here at Susquehanna, right? And they've mentioned championships. They've mentioned rivalry wins and expectations and those things. Well, I finally get a chance here starting March 23rd to work with these kids. 16 spring practices we have over the course of a week. And we got an awful lot of work to do. Okay, a lot of work from an evaluation standpoint on my part, right? A lot of work from the kids' standpoint. Right? I got to finalize my staff, right? About halfway done, right, with our staff to see the guys that are coming here coach with us and help raise these young guys. I got to meet every single one of these players. And today through Friday, I have 92 individual meetings with all these kids, right? I want to know why they chose Susquehanna. I want to know about their families. I want to know what their major is, what the good things are that they've experienced in their year to 3 years here, and what are the things that they want to see changed as we move forward. So I got a chance to sit down with them starting this afternoon right after this. But we have a lot of work. We got to finish our recruiting class. We're about halfway there. Last night we got commit number 14, and hopefully this morning I had a meeting over there at 8:30 with a young man that hopefully is going to be number 15 when he tells us that he's coming here. But we're on our way there from a recruiting standpoint. The guys that were a part of the staff did a great job of gathering up those names. We need to solidify that here moving forward. Our journey begins for the 2026 season now. But as we peek back at what was in the past, we know we have an awful lot of work to do. 27 out of the 58 guys that traveled to the playoff game are no longer with our program. Right? They were either seniors that graduated or unforeseen circumstances. They are no longer here anymore. So we have opportunities for some of those 92 guys that are here. Okay? I've been told that we have good football players here. I've been told that there's plenty of good football players here, and I'm excited to learn that. But I was also told that this was a great place to live and the sun was going to shine. And up till yesterday, I hadn't seen the sun in 13 days. And so, I hope that those people that are telling me that there's good football players, I hope that I can believe them a little bit more than I did with the sunshine thing, although in conversations it could be 70 degrees here today. I'm excited about the 2026 season, okay? But those challenges are in front of us as well. 3 out of the first 4 teams we play went to the playoffs last year. 3 of the first 4 games are on the road from an away standpoint. So as I meet these kids here this week and as we talk about the future and things like that, opportunities will be there for them, but understand that we have expectations of where we believe that this program should be, and we got a lot of work to do to get to that point. I'm going to finish with this. When I took this job and let people know that I had taken this job, and I'm very, very lucky and fortunate to be here, they asked me why Susquehanna. Just like I asked the kids and just like I asked the coaches during the interview process. They asked me why Susquehanna right now in your life, in your journey. Why did you choose Susquehanna to take that job? And it's because this place checks all those boxes that I mentioned through my whole first 9 schools that I went to. Right? It's small classrooms. It's families that are invested in their education. It's families that want a campus life. They want to be able to see their kids play football. Their kids can go home on the weekends. They want a great internship. They want to study abroad. They want to push themselves academically so that it'll take them for the next 40 years. That's what they want. We've had great success there from an athletic standpoint. Dr. Green spoke of just since I've been here, right? We won a men's basketball championship. Our women's team made it to the semis with an unbelievable season. The men's track team won. We've been to 4 straight NCAA playoffs from a football standpoint. So the academics and the athletic success and the commitment is here at Susquehanna. It fits, right, what I'm looking for when I talk about college athletics. Dr. Green spoke of it a little bit. What takes place at other places in the bigger schools is not college athletics anymore. Okay, it's not. I want to coach the true student athlete. I want to be around the guys that want to challenge themselves every single day in every aspect of who they are. And this place checks that box, and this place is one of the best places in the country from that respect. I'm excited to be here. Right now, as we get to work, I'm very, very excited about the prospects and what the future holds here. Right, and I thank you all for coming out here. Can't promise in the end those wins and losses. Can't promise in the end, what the record is at the end of the whole thing. But what I can promise you is that you will be very, very happy and proud of the kids that we put on the football field, in the classroom, and in the community here at Susquehanna. Those are things that I can promise you. And I can't wait to get to work starting this afternoon, meeting those kids, and I can't wait to get to see all y'all and meet everybody along the way here getting prepared for the 2026 season. I thank you very much.
We'll open the floor to questions from the media. If you wish to speak now and get Coach Wells to stand.
That's a hat.
Going once, going twice. All right. So what we'll do now is we'll do for our photographers here, we can do a photo op session with President Green, Sharif, and Chris. We'll hold up the jersey. Chris can wear the hat that he so picked out for himself. Oh, you got it right there. That's cool. All right, cool. So we'll do that, and then following that, we'll have Coach Pincince over by the white backdrop for those that want to do a one-on-one individual Q&A with them. If there's anything else, please let us know. I'm Dan Grant, by the way, in case you don't know me. If there's anything else you need from us, just give us a holler. All right, thanks for coming out today. Thanks, Dan. Joseph,
No worries.